Kia ora and welcome to Sam's Take, a series about entertainment news and reviews, with me, Sam Rillstone. This week I'm looking at one of the favourites in the Oscar race, the biopic of Princess Diana, Spencer. Directed by Pablo Larraín, the story takes place over the 3-day Christmas Boxing Day period in 1991, as the royal family gathers at the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. Princess Diana, played by Kristen Stewart, spends the majority of her time grappling with her declining marriage and mental health under the looming presence of the crown. Being a psychological drama about a real person, don't expect too much fact. The idea being that as Diana's mental health continues to decline, the further from reality the events get. The film is also quite pointed at the royal family and their traditions, so just be aware of that. Every moment feels like it happens in a vice, with more and more pressure being applied in every scene. There's a repeated motif of classical music connected to growing pressure on screen. You're almost waiting for it to pop, but it never does, highlighting what Diana, and I suppose any in the royal family suffering, would have to do. It's a mix of high art in the music and the dire circumstance of Diana's mental health. It's a similar use of that in A Clockwork Orange, where classical music is used in scenes of horrific events. Stewart's performance is intense. She plays the suffering princess with such raw energy, it's surprising she hasn't been nominated for more high-profile awards. Not that awards are everything, but still. Her ability to use not just her words, but her entire physicality, particularly her eyes, to convey so much subtext, is amazing to watch. Claire Mathin's cinematography adds to the moods of different scenes perfectly. Wide shots to show Diana's isolation and loneliness, and tight close-ups during her mania to give the feeling of her tunnel vision and discombobulation. In terms of story, not much happens. It kind of just goes moment to moment of Diana suffering to tradition and suffocating under the royal behaviour. She compares herself to multiple things that people use without care. Currency, pheasants, regularly comparing herself to Anne Boleyn, even hallucinating seeing her many times. The feel of the film is very similar to a 1966 art house film by Ingmar Bergman called Persona. The constant question of what is real and what isn't, of personal identity, as well as the construction of the film and its somewhat experimental style are common threads between the two. I do wonder what the basis is of this creative interpretation of her mental state was. Where did they get or interpret this information? Insiders? Friends? Interviews? Particularly because the royals are quite heavily in the zeitgeist at the moment, for numerous reasons, it's an interesting choice to be so experimental and loose with real people and events. Of course, it doesn't present it as fact, given the creative nature of the filmmaking, and it even refers to the events that take place at the very beginning of the film as a fable of tragedy. So while the art house form won't be for everyone, it's still a recommendation to not only see Kristen Stewart in one of the best performances of her career, but also to see something that might be a bit different for you. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Sam's Take. I'll see you next time for more entertainment news and reviews.